Shar Aleph Perek Hay in the middle. I took a tangent to learn about what malachim are. So, I just want to say this sikum of the whole Nekuda was that malachim, everybody knows that malachim are now what the Michelangelo or the Christians call malachim. They're not beings per se that run around with wings or fly around with wings. Even though those misholim are given, but that for all of those pictures, you need to have a world of gashmius. But once you're not in the world of gashmius, so you don't necessarily have neshamas or higher worlds or something. And have bodies per se. So it's just that that's the only way we could see it. But what's more correct for the mature mind is that when HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the world, so he created different forces in the world, and those forces are called malachim. Different forces. They're not like not even so much of a Shlit'a. That's also l'saber sois, and okay, you Avraham Avinu, go kill that guy. Malach Ravol, go heal that one.
Understand? What does that mean that Belagodu said malach?
Right. So in other words, Hashem. There's Hashem, whatever, and then there's his forces, and I don't mean forces like the armed forces, but the kochos in the world. So there's kochos in the world are called malachim. So not necessarily, sometimes they're butterflies, maybe it's something else, maybe, it could be, I'm just saying as an example, just to make it, like, could be gravity is a malach. It could be, all these kind of things you can't touch and see, but they're forces of the Bria.
Legions.
Yeah. So those things that we can understand per force are things that are in this world. Once you're getting to a higher world, we've never been there and back. So we have a little bit of description with the Chazal, but we don't really understand it in the sense of really being able to understand it. How can you understand something that's beyond our realm of experience? It's not something which is possible. But anyways, that's what I explained. And in that sense, if we're talking about Hashem that created the world and created within it different forces, like let's say you build a motor, which I don't know much about. Let's say you build a motor. So part of the motor is relying on the force of electricity. Part of it's using a force of magnetism. Some of it's using a natural centrifugal force, which is making it. So it's using a kinetic force. There's all kinds of things that an engineer and a scientist will use, which are a combination of sort of natural phenomena. This is the way this behaves under those circumstances. Those are all, in the world we're talking about, those are malachim, meaning those are different things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses, different tools that HaKadosh Baruch Hu uses to create the world. In that world, the Adam is a malach. We're also a force. So our force, we can understand because we're all part of the same club. The human race is part of the same club. It could be a Yisrael. It's a different type of a malach than a guy is a different type of a malach. But everything has its purpose in the ultimate goal. Right? I'm not explaining anything. I'm just explaining what we don't understand. I'm explaining what not to think. I'm not explaining what to think. And it's easy for us. There's a force of nature which is called malacham avos. Can you define the force of nature of malacham avos? Rabbi Haber defined somehow the force of nature. And then there's, which we're going to learn today actually, then there's Hashem ba'atzmo, which is, if we don't understand malachim, we certainly don't understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu. This is, by the way, I want to say this, just to back up for a second. It's important to, one of the hard things about being a Jew, in fact, one of the miraculous things really requires is that, and I mention this often, that on the one hand, you have to daven short esrei, dalifnei mi'ata omed. And on the other hand, like, whatever you're going to picture in your mind is wrong, because the very fact that you can picture it already makes it wrong. That itself makes it wrong. So what are you thinking of? You're thinking of, an old man with a long white beard. Wrong. Are you thinking about an electronic dynamo? Wrong. You're thinking about lightning. Whatever somehow got into, whatever Narishkeit got into our heads when we were kids. So, so Dalif Leviat Oibet, so here you're sitting Dalif Leviat Oibet, and you're being Babash Kfir Gibur Apokarsis. Like, the more you're shuckling, the more you're like, the more Apokarsis you are. Like, it's because, but on the other hand, this is the Tzivoy. The Tzivoy is Dalif Leviat Oibet. So it's like I say, it's a miracle that we're able to daven with Kavona. It's a very difficult thing.
You said Adam is a type of a malach. Isn't there a basic difference that Adam has Berach Chavshis?
Oh, exactly right.
And
So
is a creative person.
it's not different, but not different from a malach, a different type of malach. This is most malachim have no bechira chavshis. This malach has some free choice. So it's a very sophisticated bria. The bechir shel yitzir kapov, as the Gemara calls it, bechir shel yitzir kapov. That this is a malach with, first of all, I have a goof. That's cool, but also that's something, right? As I said yesterday, the shir, like Chava, has a baby, So first baby, like I said, the shir. Oh, I didn't see that one coming. Like why? What kind of thing is that? Like like I'm creating a person. Until now, the only creation was Hashem created Adam. As far as anybody knew, anybody meaning the two of them, as far as anybody knew, that's the way people are created. Maybe that's, by the way, the way it would have continued to be created if there would have been a chet of maybe Hashem would have just made people. Maybe everything would have been people. I mean Hashem's people. But I'm not sure about that. But now she became, after the chet, she became Chava Eim Kol Chai. That's only after the chet that she became Eim Kol Chai, right? So now but she's this is the type of a malach that I'm participating in the Ma'aseh Bereishis. The Nachash was a type of a malach also. So when we're saying about malachim, these are different forces. Another thing that I said, which I really don't understand, but I said it anyway, but I think it's a good vart, is that like everybody asked the question that by the Akedah, let me just remind you, by the Akedah, so Hashem said to Avraham Avinu, we're going to learn a little bit about the Akedah today. Hashem said to Avraham Avinu, Kachas minchas yichidcha sharaftas Yitzchak, right, and go bring him as a korban, shechtim. And then, so Hashem told him, so he goes. Hashem told him, so that means that's a nevuah of the highest level. Hashem told him, so he goes. And then at the end, Malach Hashem says, Al tishlach yadcha el anar. So how's a Malach get into this? We're talking about, I got my commands from the Supreme HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now this Malach, which is apparently an underling, comes and says, don't do it. So the Avraham Avinu has to be faced with the dilemma of Divrei Harav and Divrei HaTalmud, Divrei Mishoimen, right? Why am I listening to a Malach? So the Hasidic Sfarad, they say of art, when it comes to hurting somebody, so you need Hashem to tell you. When it comes to saving somebody, even a junior, can tell you. Okay, that's nice for it. Let me just finish. Okay, I'm sorry. But the probably the emes of it is, at least the emes for our purposes, is that Avraham Avinu had a nevuah from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's a very high madrega. When he went and he was willing to do the Akedah, and he almost did the Akedah, he took the Vayikachas HaMachelas L'shchoistes B'noi. So now he was zocha. At that moment, he was zocha to such a madrega where he was able to see even more of the working forces of the bria, and now he was able to access a malach that he wasn't able to access before. Understand? It wasn't here I got my command here. Now you're telling me something else. No, it's he saw even more. Before he heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I don't understand why. What Hashem said to do it. That was the Nisayan. It was Bittul Hadas. But once he was there and he did it and he was willing to do it, so now he was Zeichen to Malachim. That's even a higher madrega to be Zeichen to Malachim, because it's like to bring it down to a very, very low level. Like I could understand how to drive my car. I could understand what the car looks like. I could understand the price of the car. But when I come to the madrega that I'm understanding what this tick is and what that click is, and I'm hearing what's going on inside the edges. So they're like a real mumcha putting his ear down on the engine and saying, okay, you need to do this and you need to do that. That's like, so this was actually a higher madrega. He had a deeper access to the world or to the inside world of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So it means to say, and don't get me wrong, I mean, this came from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but it wasn't like a mistake at any point. But it means to say that when the Malach told him, means to say, La Niyastaiti, that now I understand what the purpose of this was. Now I understand what I was supposed to do, and the Malach, and I passed that test. Now I don't have to shech my kid. I saw a bigger picture. The bigger picture was it was all about my commitment. It was not about Yitzchak dying. So once he reached that level of commitment, so he saw that in the Malachim everybody's satisfied. Everything is satisfied. Nature is satisfied. Spiritual worlds are satisfied. Hashem is satisfied. That's the taich of a Malach.
It's a question of really what is a korban and what is an olah. I mean, do we have to physically do an act, or is it the intention, like you say? The
Can
intention?
you Shelo? Otherwise, how can tefillos come and become korbanos?
Right.
So, but the thing is that, like, it's important to remember. I mean, because I don't want to get into the politics as to whether there's going to be korbanos, there's not going to be korbanos. Self kol self, and this is Torah. This is Torah. When you're willing to do something on the most base level, like kill your dog, let alone kill your son or kill your cow, when you're willing to do something on the most base level, so in a certain way, that's the highest level, more than tefillah, because tefillah is with your mind, with your heart, but this, you're bringing it all the way into the world of Assiah, yes? So the mile of korbanos, you're right, it's all about the intention. Here you have an interesting thing by Avraham Avinu, what you see, is that it's all about the Maisa, but you don't actually have to do the Maisa. That's what you learned from Avraham Avinu. It's not the, whatever it is, it's not the actual Maisa which is important. I have a good mashal for this, by the way. Like, let's say, a real mashal, la halacha. I saw this in the Sefer Migdal Oz of Rav Yaacov. He says that if a person would be, God forbid, in a situation where you have to die al Kiddush Hashem. I never know if you're supposed to say God forbid on that or not. But I don't want to do it, so I guess God forbid. But let's say you're in that situation. Bow down to an idol, or I'll kill you, or kill this guy, or I'll kill you, or something like that. So you're supposed to die al Kiddush Hashem. So a person's in that situation, wherever you are, in a pogrom, in the Holocaust, in the Spanish Inquisition, put yourself wherever in history you want to be. We've been in that situation so many times. So you say, I'm asking, Mucha, Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu v'tzosef v'tzivanu, l'kadesh shema Yisrael. That's the bracha you make if you're ever in that situation. That's the bracha that you make. You said you're hineni muchan, you close your eyes, you have kavanah, you're ready to go. Boom, the gun jams and you end up not dying. So so the old joke is that the Litvak's walking around saying no hefsek, but the Rabbi Yaacov says that in such a matzav, you did the mitzvah Kiddush Hashem, and now you're b'chayim. And the nafkamina, he says, is that once a person, here's a case of dying al Kiddush Hashem still being alive, you get it? You're dying al Kiddush Hashem still alive, you're the best of both worlds, literally. So you die al Kiddush Hashem because you were muchad to die al Kiddush Hashem. You thought you're going to die. You're checking yourself, am I alive or am I dead? Right? So you're ready to die al Kiddush Hashem, but you don't die. So now the mitzvah Kiddush Hashem is so big, the Rabbi Yaacov, that now I have all the brachas of Kiddush Hashem, and he says you will never have tsaris again in your life. I'm not saying don't try this at home. I'm just saying I'm not saying this is something to recommend. It's something so interesting that he says that Kiddush Hashem. Nobody knows this because if you die al Kiddush Hashem, where do you have the brachas? But here's a hechatzimsa where you die al Kiddush Hashem without dying, and the schus is so big. B'hai alma, the schus is so big that you'll never have tsaris again. You never have tsaris, which is why he said. You know where he says this? He says this in Tfilas Ne'ilah. Hashem Hu Elokim at the end of Tfilas Ne'ilah. So there, in most of the machzors, it brings from the Shloah Kadosh that you should be medamed ba'atzmai when you're saying Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad ki ilu meis al Kiddush Hashem. So what happens at this point is that nobody's shooting me. It's Yom Kippur, right? Nobody's at 8:30. Who's running out to do a call? Like it's still like we're still in the world over here, right? There's still stuff happening. But I can be zocheh to the brachas of the whole year, or just by dying al Kiddush Hashem without dying al Kiddush Hashem. So what am I saying to you? I'm saying that a korban and the Akedah for that matter, the ultimate korban, has a maila, but the maila, the more it gets closer to Gashmias, the better it is. But it doesn't have to get to Gashmias. It doesn't make any difference if it gets to Gashmias, as long as it has the same koach as it got to Gashmias. That's the
communication difference between God telling Avraham and then the Malach stopping him. How did God communicate with Avraham, contrasting with Moshe, because he tells Moshe how he did? He saw him in a vision. He didn't actually see him.
Not much what we're going to learn now.
Whereas if he was if he's asleep or a dream or whatever, and he's about to kill his son, you need somebody who's actually there. So the Malach is there to stop him immediately. Otherwise, if he had to wait till he fell asleep.
You know, you're like mamish, like a Gilgul of Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. You're right there. You're mamish right there. So let's talk on that note. Let's learn a little bit. Before we get it, before we do that, he described here, again, now shift over from that. We're going to go back to Malachim in a second, but shift over to the worlds.
We don't need it.
Where, what book do you have? Parakeh. Chol ha'olamus nechlolin v'nechlokim l'dalad ki yadua she'eno ifanim v'achayis Kisei HaKavod v'atzilos kadsha yisbarach. 4 worlds. Another lashon for the 4 worlds he's going to explain is the worlds of Abiyah. When he said 4 worlds, again, like not 4 globes, one on top of the other, not the atmosphere and the stratosphere, no. 4 dimensions to life. There's a dimension that we see, which is called Assiah. Assiah, Maisa. There's a higher world called the world of Yitzir, a higher dimension that we don't see. There's a deeper dimension. The world of Assiah goes all the way to our psychology and our personality, but it's all Nefesh, you know. And then there's a dimension we don't see, which, let's say, just to give an example, let's say the dimension of history. Like that we don't see. We see what's going on in front of us. We see cause and effect in front of us. We see everything scientific, and then it doesn't work out. Why do the righteous suffer? Why didn't it work out? Why did everything is right? Why shouldn't it work out? Well, not everything works out. Why? Because there's a higher dimension in, whether it's in the world of Yetzirah and Bria, wherever it might be, a higher dimension. So let's say it's the dimension of history. Yes, but you need to forward. Let's say, if I'm just saying this, I don't feel it. But let's say if there wasn't a Holocaust, there wouldn't be a state of Israel. I'm saying I don't feel that because I still grew up with my grandfather died. I can't. I'm not dealing with the state of Israel. But let's say from Hashem's drone point of view, there's a process of history. So in terms of history, not everything works out the way you think it's going to work out. In this dimension, if we would see this dimension, we would see things differently. There's the dimension of schar v'onesh. Schar v'onesh, well, okay, it didn't work out. Maybe that's because of something you did 3 years ago or something your grandfather. Maybe it's a Gilgul. Maybe you're a Gilgul. There's all kinds of dimensions of Asiya, Yetzirah, Bria, Atzilus. There's all kinds of dimensions to everything that's happening. So it's only a Shoita that says that, well, I shouldn't say it's only a Shoita, because even in a Beis Din, Ein l'dayin ela ma she'ein avroyos. But as I pointed out, that a dayan can only paskin by what he sees. That's in this world. You can't go to a makubal to paskin a din Torah, because it needs to be here. At the same time, a dayan has to pray for the siyata d'shmaya that his din should be emes la'amitoy. So emes la'amitoy means, says the Gaon, in all worlds it's true. This worked on every level. That's and that's a whole new reality. So here he's saying something, that's the 4 worlds, 4 dimensions. V'nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam she'alav. Now this is already chidush nifla. K'may shenemar Rabbi Nasei achayis hinasu ha'efanim l'umasam ki ruach ha'chaya ba'efanim b'lechtam yelchu b'amdam yamoidu. Let's get the first 3 words. Nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam she'alav. the neshama of this world is the world on top of us, Yetzirah, on top, so to speak. The neshama of Yetzirah is Bria. The neshama of Bria is Atzilus. Kisei HaKavod, that's in Bria. So this, Rabbi Isai opens up a whole new definition for the word neshama, no? Like, we thought neshama is, okay, I have my heart, I have my brain, I have my kidneys, and I have my neshama. So that maybe it won't show up on an x-ray because it's spiritual, but it's something that I'm carrying around. Isn't that what everybody believes? Like, I have my neshama, it's unique, it's me, it's, it's my neshama. So according to the sentence, that's not what neshama means altogether. What neshama means, and this is what I want to take a few minutes to delve into for a minute, neshama means that that the world which is on top, the dimension on top of the dimension in which we live is called its neshama. No. Let's say it in English. The neshama then becomes the driving force. That this world is the driving force, or the neshama of this world is this world, this dimension. The driving force of this dimension is this dimension until you get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So, so think more of, like a gearbox, big, smaller, like until you get into this world.
It's not like a remote controller, though.
No. Stick to my watch. In other words, you're talking the movers. So it's a new pshat neshama. Nishmas kol echad means every world, doesn't mean kol echad, every person. Nishmas kol echad hu ha'olam sha'alav. And he brings a pasuk in Yechezkel. V'hachayos gam came, for instance. Chayos, we said there's different kinds of malachim, right? So there's us, on top of us, oifanim, those are the wheels, the movers, the gears. On top of that, chayos, which is lashon chiyus. So there's a whole thing going on that we don't see.
The Adam is described differently,
V'chayos gam came misnagim aydei olam hakisei sha'aleihem. And the chayos, which is your higher level of malachim, are being controlled. The dynamo for them is the Kisei HaKavod. Kisei HaKavod doesn't mean God's chair, by the way. That's not what it means. It's just again like a Michelangelo idea. It's not. That's not what it means.
It's an idiom.
It has nothing to do with God's chair. It's Kisei HaKavod, nothing to do with God. God does not sit on his Kisei HaKavod. No, it doesn't work. There's such a thing in the Mashal of the Nevi'im that he gets up from his Kisei HaRachamim and he goes on to his Kisei HaDin, he gets up from the Kisei HaDin, gets up to the Kisei HaRachamim. None of that is the Kisei HaKavod. Kisei HaKavod is in the world of Bria. When Moshe Rabbeinu was getting the Torah, so the Malachim of Yetzirah, I pointed out, said to him, the Gemara says, Mali Yilud Isha Poi, what is he doing here? You're in the world of Assiah. So what Hashem tell him? Achois b'Kisei HaKavod, not grab onto my chair. Achois b'Kisei HaKavod, show him who you are. Hold on to the Kisei HaKavod, which is a higher world of Bria, v'hachzir lam shuva. In other words, a person looks at it with a very narrow dimension. The upper, the malachim can see things like from an aerial point of view. So you see from the bird's eye point of view, you see it better. So now they're saying, according to our point of view, what are you doing here? You should be here. So what does Hashem say? Achois b'Kisei HaKavod. Okay, malachim, you're not here. You're even higher. Like you're the one who's going to show the malachim what they're there for. Not they're showing you what you're here for. They have a different thing. Shakisei, and this is v'achayis gam kein misnaigim aydei olam hakisei shel aleihem. Moshe Amar shakisei noisei es noisav. Lashon of the Zayar Zayar Chodesh Yisrael Techayis Natlan Loin Kursaya Kadisha Natal Lachayis. Or in Hebrew, Chayis Noisei says Hanois Noisem Vakisei HaKadosh Noisei Chayis. Where do we have this concept?
The Aron.
And right, B'nai Kos, right? So Aron Noisei es Noisa. So Lefi Hasagasi, let me just explain it. We know that it looks like the Levium, Hashem wanted it to look like the Levium were carrying the Aron. But we know that, as I pointed out a couple of weeks ago, that the Aron weighed well over a ton. I did the calculation. weighed well over a ton.
It was
Would have been
carrying them.
impossible for 8 or 10 or 50 people to carry. It's like it's in other words, weighed like a Toyota, like that's which is the same way as a Toyota. I calculated according to Google. So if you take all the pieces, 3 tvachim, sapphire stone, etc. So it wasn't the Bnei Kahas which were carrying the Aron. It was the Aron that was, and it wasn't even that it was defied gravity, and that it was weightless. But what it was it actually carried the people. So so let me say this: we think, in the way our minds have pictured this, that we are carrying our neshama, like you're carrying around your heart and your liver. And the answer is no. You're not carrying your neshama is carrying you. That's what he says here. Ha'arayin noiseyes noiso. It's what's really happening here is the way it looks is the Bnei Kahas are carrying the Aron, or the way it looks in Yecheskel's dream, Yecheskel's nevuah rather, is that the Malachim are carrying the Kisei HaKavod. But it's not true. This says the Zohar. The Kisei HaKavod are carrying the Malachim. So for whatever Hashem's reason is, he wants it to look that way. Even in Shemayim, he wants it to look who's carrying who. So this is fascinating to me, because what's happening is we're walking around with our neshama, which we have yet to describe. Really, we're walking around with our neshama. So we're carrying the neshama, which carries us. Because mitzad echad, if there's no person, there's no neshama. Person dies, neshama, poof. So Hashem needs the person to carry the neshama. Mitzad sheni, the neshama is carrying the person. So it comes out that we're carrying that which carries us. Can you work that out?
No.
Okay. It's like we're carrying that. We did a good painter in the office, so you could figure. But who's carrying who? Yeah.
But even though the neshama may be carrying us, the guf can sully the neshama, or it can keep it pure by its actions. No?
For sure. I'm not saying the guf has no function.
But it affects the one who's carrying it.
I read a novel once that some Japanese woman got stuck in the war there, and she had her baby, and she she ran with her baby in her arms for 50 miles, 60 miles without stopping until she can get to a place of safety for the child. So when she was there, so they said, like, how could you carry the baby for so many miles? And she said, the baby was carrying me. I think that which was motivating me, that which needed to get done here. So who's carrying who? So the answer is she was carrying he, which was carrying her. And that's the side of Aron Noiseis Noiso. And the Malachim, the Kisei HaKavod is carrying the Malachim, which are carrying the Kisei HaKavod. So the Neshama, according to this definition, just like I don't know how we imagine God, how we're, whatever we're told when we were children, like what does the neshama look like? So we get pictures of that too, Agav, I'm in the publishing industry, and like there's like a whole new movement against illustrations. For instance, somebody's writing a children's book about Rabbi Akiva, so you don't want to see Rabbi Akiva's face. So I guess the logic there is that, however you're imagining Rabbi Akiva to look like, why diminish him? I don't know, but I mean, like today we have photography and we have pictures of Gedolim, and I wish I had a real good picture of the Vilna Gaon or Abaye and Rava. I would love to see I would find it actually quite inspiring to see, what they look like. Maybe because they look just like us. Maybe that's exactly the inspiring thing. So in my little world, I allow those pictures and I encourage them. I think it's good, whatever. If that's your as long as it's not narishkeit, if that's your concept, so do it. Why not? Why not have a picture of Moshe Rabbeinu? Why not? But when you start talking about pictures of celestial beings, which, by the way, even in the art scroll Haggadah you have the malachim flying around and the voice of Hashem coming down at Har Sinai and the Mapitom. Like here, you're already putting Meshigas, so that's already narishkeit. Like we have no. Rabbi Akiva looked like a person. I'm telling you. But he looked like a person. The craziness is that we think he wasn't a person. I remember sitting at it was like a kiddush after Shacharis on Shabbos. I remember sitting with my Rebbe of Scheinberg, and there was he didn't talk so much on Shabbos. He didn't talk on Shabbos at all, actually. But every once in a while, he's like said something there. But somebody was saying that they're going to Bnei Brak, from Yerushalayim, they're going to Bnei Brak, so they're going to be in Panovich. So somebody else said, well, you're in Panovich Yeshiva. You go to visit Panovich Yeshiva, take the opportunity and take a look at a Malach. Go look at Rav Chatzkel Levenstein. You want to see what a Malach, take a look at Rav Chatzkel Levenstein. And Scheinberg said, Basar V'dam. They're like, wow, you have politics here? You don't like him? No. The whole greatness of it is that he was a Basar V'dam. That's the greatness. The whole thing to look at is that we're not getting a glimpse at Malachim. Who cares about that? We get a glimpse of what we could be. That's the whole, so if you see something, if you're Zocha, you have the eyes to see something special or holy. So the whole beauty is that this was an accomplishment of a Basar V'dam. So, okay. So who's carrying who?
Yecheskel gave us some sort of description.
Yeah. Okay.
Of what's out there.
So I have here, I don't know if you have this, you have this Nefesh HaChaim. In the back, he has Likutei Maimarim. Do you have the same book as him? Or do you have Likutei Maimarim? So if you have it, if not, so follow on with me. In Maimar, this is very important. In this book, it's Shin Lamed Ches. I'm sorry, Shin Lamed Zayin. What Reb Chaim Volozhin here, Bifnim, explains, let me just say to you outside for a minute, what we're learning here is that every world on top is the neshama of the world below it, yes? And then there's the world of the Kisei. And Allah Kisei, Yecheskel said, Kimara Adam. Cool. Okay. Here we are here. Allah Kisei, Kimara Adam. It's the Haraya that we're Malachim, right? We're Malachim, except Malachim with Bechira Chavshis. So Chazal explain what's Adam doing up there. Adam is here. So Chazal explain that not any particular Adam, but Adam, like mankind, is ala kisei. Or to put it in more Kabbalistic terms, that the neshama haklali. So the neshama haklali of Adam was one neshama, echad. And then as the world gets created, just like everything got divided and divided and subdivided, the whole Bereshis, as I always point out, is with 16 times vayavdil, 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 ben ar l'choshech, ben mayim l'moyim. So there was a vayavdil in the neshama. So therefore, you're you and I'm me. And we like to think that when we get married, there's two pieces coming together. Old days, people married 6, 7 wives. There's a lot of pieces coming together. But it's all. Sometimes a person is married and divorced, a lot of pieces getting together. It's different pieces of neshama coming together, like Tetris. It's coming together. But may Allah kisei Adam, which Yecheskel said already. May Allah kisei Adam means that neshama haklali before it got subdivided into me. So this is interesting. That it means to say that what we're doing is really being powered by Yitzir. Well, Yitzir is being powered by Bria, and Bria is being powered by the Kisei HaKavod. Kisei HaKavod is being powered by Adam again. So we're here and we're there. Hence you have the idea of we're carrying that which carries us, you see. Then you have that idea. So Chaim Volozhin says that's the pshat. Shin Lamed Zayin, if you have it here. Zehu ha'inyan b'kfelus hashemos Avraham, right? Like, isn't it interesting by the Akedah, Avraham. What's the stammer here? Avraham. So Chazal say Avram Lamala, Avram Lamata. Avram. Kachas Binchas Yichidcha. Who else does it say his name twice?
No.
You're right there. Moshe. Right? By the snap. Avram. Zeu inyan b'kfelus Hashemus Avram. Harishan Meir al etzem hanefesh. Sharsha elyain shesham ikar medar haneshama. Rak mishtal shel mimena miksasa baguf. There's the Adam, the Iker Etzem HaAdam, which is not what we see in front of us when we're looking at each other. That's here. And then there's Adam. Avram, I'm calling to your Neshama, Lamala, Kisei, and I'm calling to you. Avram. Indian Kvelos Hashem is Avram. Harishain, so this carefully, Moira, the first Avram, the order is important. Al Etzem HaNefesh. Which one's the Etzem HaNefesh, Danny? Which is the Etzem HaNefesh? That's the Etzem HaNefesh. Shar Shai HaElyon. Shesham Iker Midar HaNeshama. And that's the chamber of the Neshama. Rak Mishtal Shel Mimena Miksasa Bagov. That Neshama, see, so everyone's saying, where's the Neshama? Is it here? Is it here? The answer is it's there. Neshama is Lamala. Yeah, Neshama is Lamala, but Neshama being spiritual transcends all the worlds, and it's Mishtal Shel Lamata. So what we have with us, what we're carrying around with us, is a shtickle Neshama. But the real Neshama, the big Neshama, if you will, is on the Kisei HaKavod. Mishtal Shel Mimena Miksasa Baguf. Little bit of it, Ki Gaguf. Hurrah k'moynal la'neshama. Now, the goof is a na'al la'neshama. Now think about your shoes. And think about the fact that Hashem said to Moshe, Shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. So what does the shoe do? Well, he says, K'moy hana'al einoy malboish rak l'kotza atachton shel haguf. Just like the shoe really is a malbush just for the lowest part of the body, right? It's not an important malbush in the sense, like if somebody's not wearing anything except for his shoes, so it looks weird. Right? It's like the last thing you put on, not the first thing you put on. But, like a person walking around in their house with no clothes on but a tie. It's bizarre, so the nal is in the sense like an accessory. It's like it's not the important part of it. Mitzad echad. Rak l'kotza hatachton shel haguf. Ken haguf eino malbush rak l'kotza hatachton shel neshama. But on the other hand, let me add, the shoe is really giving support, isn't it, to the whole body. Hard to walk without shoes for me. It's hard. So, and the better the shoe, the better you can walk, right? Everybody says, right? Make sure, if you're going to go walking, going to go running, make sure you get the right shoes. Right? Shoes are important, not just fashion, which is see from top. It's like working from the bottom up.
Why does touching it make you tummy?
Okay, good point.
In the area of Yibum, the brother is supposed to take the
Chalutz hanal.
So he takes off the shoe. But we should have been one neshamas, two neshamas together, take out the shoe, they're separate.
Wow, symbolic. Kohanim take off their shoes. So the goof, so what is he saying? That the goof is the nal of the neshama. Like our whole goof, not just the shoes. Your whole goof. Everything that everything that you take to the doctor or everything that you walk around with, your whole goof That's like a nal to the neshama. It's kedai to try to wrap our brains around that. Kein haguf eino malbish rak lekotza atachton shel neshama. The neshama keeps going in Shemayim on the Kisei HaKavod. That's what Yecheskel was talking about. Neshama Avraham. So the neshama is all the way up to the Kisei HaKavod. In fact, controlling, if you will, the Kisei HaKavod. And the Kisei HaKavod is controlling the world of Yetzirah and Bria. And Bria is controlling Yetzirah. And Yetzirah is controlling the world of Assiah. But there's an Avram. B'china soif haraglayim shel haneshama. The soif haraglayim shel haneshama. V'zeh shekasu shal nalecha me'al raglecha. By who? Moshe. First thing Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu. Yes. But the first thing he told Moshe Rabbeinu, meaning when I say the first thing, I don't mean the first thing at the snap. First thing he ever told Moshe Rabbeinu. The first thing he told Moshe Rabbeinu ever was, he told him a lot, told him the whole Torah, but the first thing he told Moshe Rabbeinu was, take off your shoes. Like, if I would have been God, I was like, put on a yarmulke. No, it starts out with the top, with the bottom. Shal nalecha me'al raglecha. What was he telling him? I need your neshama here. Moshe. I'm not talking to you. Like what he's saying to him was, get rid of the goof. You see, in the Pashut Pshat, I've often mentioned this. In the Pashut Pshat, I think maybe the Sasema says that it's like an interesting thing that with shoes you can walk. Just interesting with shoes you can walk through. You can walk over stones. You can walk over glass. You can walk over hot. You can walk over cold. You're insulated. You have an insulator. If you have a decent pair of shoes, like it insulates you from everything. That's the whole. You can take impact with shoes. Shoes are chashuv things. When you take off your shoes, you feel every single bump, yeah? Like everything, it's very hard. You feel the heat, you feel this, you step on it, even on if you have wall-to-wall carpeting, you step on like a little Lego or something, whoo, it goes right up your body. So you're missing the whole insulation. So the Pashut Pshat of Shal Nalecha Me'al Raglecha is Moshe Rabbeinu, I want you to be a leader of the Jewish people. Get rid of the insulation. You need to be able to feel pain. You need to be able to feel the pain of Klal Yisrael. Shal nalecha me'al raglecha. The Zohar Pshat is deeper. Get rid of your Gashmias altogether. Why? What does that get rid of your Gashmias? He was still in his body. Right? His body was there, his beard was the same color, nothing changed in that sense that I know. Got a little bit of a shine, but Hadras Banim, but as he went on. But what he probably meant to say, if I could put it in my language, if I may dare, is get rid of your ego. Get rid of your ego. Meaning, like if there's a filter here in this world of no matter what we're called upon to do, whatever we're called upon to do, there's a subconscious filter called the ego, which says, do I really want to do this? Is it good for me or is it not good for me? Now, if you're a grub person, you say it right out. I don't want, I'm not comfortable with it. But that's grub. We're talking about tzaddikim. So a tzaddik is automatically there's the like, how does this feel? How's this going to feel? How am I going to work with this? How's this going to affect my life? That's like normal. What Hashem was telling Moshe Rabbeinu was shal na'alecha. I need you for this mission. Shed the whole thing. I need you to get rid of the whole ego. It's not about you. This is a mission from Shemayim. It was kilu a mission impossible, if you will, because who can do that? I need you to get rid of for this mission. You have to get rid of the nal. So the nal meaning not only your shoes, meaning symbolically, not only feel the pain, but don't even feel the pain. Meaning, like whatever you feel, it's a higher madriga. Whatever you feel is inconsequential because you have a mission to do. So that's the Avram. Don't think Avram, Moshe. Let's take Moshe. Don't think Moshe. Think Moshe, where there is no goof, because the goof is that which is comfortable and uncomfortable and hot and cold, and that's the goof. How do I feel? I have to figure out how I feel about that, right? When you're called upon, listen, what is we're talking about the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, is forget the goof. There's something higher cause here. So, hard thing. Again, I'm not holding by it, I don't think. But where's, I'm going to think about whether I'm holding by it, but I don't know. Nobody knows really whether they're holding by such a thing as Kiddush Hashem unless you're in that situation, and don't go there on purpose. But I mean, who knows how we will react? History has shown very simple Jews have responded correctly to Kiddush Hashem, and very chashuv Jews have run from it. It's not so pashut. And on that, the Rambam says, and if you didn't do it, Einus Rachmana Patra. It's like Gam Ken Beseder. So let me just make the point. So what Hashem was saying here, from a Kabbalistic point of view, was not just take off your shoes, which is the insulation between you and feeling, but get rid of the whole feeling thing. Get rid of the whole goof, the whole na'al, because and now I'm talking to your neshama, and Moshe. So let's just finish this because it's time to go. Hainu. Possession because of shal na'alecha me'al raglecha. Hainu haguf. Get rid of your goof. Avram Hasheni Moiral Kotza Tachton Shal Neshama Shenishtel Shabaguf. Is that Kavanasa? If you'll give me another minute. Avram Seek Time at Begave. When you read the Trop, Balkari, right? Avraham, right? So there's a what's it called? Upsi. It's called Upsi?
That line.
Yeah. Avraham. Sik Tame Begave, Ratzalaima. There is a hefsek bein Avram Dila Ela Shuha Nefesh B'Sharsha Ba'olam Ha'elyon Ubein Avraham Hasheni. So there's this duality going on over here of Avraham, Sik Avraham. Talking to both of you here. Kishim Lubeshes, because Sof Kozov, Him Lubeshes Baguf Bakotza Achrin Shalom. Yesh hefsek Begave. Shaguf hu hamafsik. So the goof of Avraham was the mafsik. He wasn't so pure. Listen to this. He wasn't so purified, Avraham Avinu. Avraham did not get there yet. As great as he was, there was a hefsik. Avraham is greater than anything we can imagine, but not. There was still that line. Moshe pasuk time begave.
Wow.
Moshe was no line, no. Shenizdachich etzlei haguf kol kach. This is already, by the way, at the snap before he went into action. Ad shloi haya chaytzei to mafsik klal bein ha'aretz haneshama kishahaya ba'olam ha'elyon l'kishahaya baguf. Why? This was Ish Moshe Anav Mikol Adam. Had no ego. The whole thing was no ego. You know, I said Shabbos morning that the difference between Gedolei Hadar and what can come out to be the Bira Mikta, the biggest Rishoyim in the generation, which were also had great leadership skills and great, Hitler was a great leader, I guess, on some level. Stalin, the difference is ego. That's the whole difference between. And the unbelievable thing about it is that when you come to such a level of godless, if you let your ego get involved, not only you failed that test, you got to take it over next week. Back down to the bottom, you're like the lowest level. The godless would know. So Moshe Rabbeinu's anivus took away any hefsek that there could possibly be between what? Between his neshama tachtoina and his neshama elyoina. There was no chatzitza whatsoever. Loy psik tame begavei shenizdachech etzloi haguf kol kach ad sheloi haya chaytzei tzumafsik. Why, says he? Zel mipnei roiv shiflusai va'anvasai shechashav atzmai ki ilu haguf einoi. He was inconsequential. V'amar, Moshe Rabbeinu's words, v'nachnu ma. Ma is not what are my. Ma is the thing. Anachnu ma. Ma is open-ended question. Ma. Like ma. Ve'etzel Avram al Kolpon. Look in the Chassidish Svarim for the beer of Manishtan. Manishtan. Allah loves it. There's no difference. Mahazna, what's the difference? No difference. It's Avraham al kol panim hayachashiv kafir ve'efer. Listen to this. Avraham Avinu, what are my? He didn't say anachnu ma. He said anoichi offer ve'efer. Oh, okay, there's still something left of you. Offer ve'efer. Moshe Rabbeinu said nachnu ma.
So why Shalom Aleichem? Then why did you have to Shalom Aleichem?
He said, I'm speaking to your neshama. I'm not speaking to your goof. You're capable of shal nalecha, so do it. L'chein amar Ashchina medab. By every time it talks about Moshe, unlike Avram, unlike Miriam, unlike Aaron, Avram. L'chein amar Ashchina medaberes mitoch groinei shel Moshe. The Shechina, there was no difference between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Shechina. Machma shaloi haya aguf etzlei masach mavdil. There was no hevdil. There was no mechitza. Hayishchina medaberes mitoch groinei mamish. V'zeu inyan dibur Aaron and Miriam and Moshe. So Aaron and Miriam are speaking about Moshe as we parsha. They're speaking about Moshe and they're saying shchashu etzem gam kein. We have nevuah. They have nevuah. Right? What's he has nevuah? What's the difference? Gam kein nizdachei HaChaim k'may Moshe. They were also pretty pure. L'chein amar harakach b'Moshe diber. So what? He only speaks to Moshe. Kolomar lo bo bilvado yashchina medaberes v'tei groinei b'mamish. Halagam banu diber chashu shagam nuvasam b'madregas. So the mistake was they said it's like the difference between Avram and Moshe was the difference between Aaron and Moshe, Miriam and Moshe. Eichel Malkadosh Baruch Hu, and Hashem answered. This is our pasuk. Neviachim Hashem. How could you compare? And this is what you said before. How could you compare the Aspaklaria Hameira, as he says, to the Aspaklaria She'ena Meira, which he's Marathon, and I'd like to go through it on Thursday. That the difference is so delicate, but you can't compare yourself to Moshe. Moshe was a Bechina of Ashchina Medaberes Tekrani, the only one. There's only one. Even though I hear people get up sometimes and they speak like a hesped or something about a tzaddik, and they say Ashchina Medaberes Tekrani. Not true. There's not Ashchina Medaberes Tekrani. We've got to be careful with that because this is a phrase which is reserved for Moshe Rabbeinu. Even Avraham Avinu didn't have this. Avram seek Avram, Moshe. What he was here, he was there. What he is there, he was here. And the only chatzitza, again, I want to just review this point. The only chatzitza that existed, and by the way, the Rambam, we should learn this, the Rambam in Shemona Prakim, in his Pirush Mishnah, he says this is not Kabbalah. The only chatzitza that there is the chatzitza of ego. And Moshe Rabbeinu had no chatzitza like this. And which is why, says the Rambam, he was able to say to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, no chatzitzas here, so hareini nos kvoidcha. There's no chatzitzas, no chatzitzas. Let me see what you look like. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, explains the Rambam, no chatzitzas, yesh chatzitza. You're still, lo yirani adam v'chai, you're still alive. So even though it's completely transparent and the glass is completely clear, it's baklaria me'ira, but chatzitza still is. To see HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Now, then O is to lock up, close. Now encloses the foot. Take off the shoe so that you will have no chatzitza.
Unlock the
With chalitza, what are we getting rid of?
So he's saying a good part that the two neshamas, you're supposed to take over your sister-in-law's
Which
neshama.
is the mitzvah. That's
the mitzvah. No, you do the shoe when you don't do it.
When you don't do it, right. The yubum is the mitzvah.
Right, meaning there's a chatzitza here. The euphemism is there is a chatzitza between these two neshamas. We can't do this. So you're cholates in the neshama.
Because of the malachim energy, so what's the malachim arguing? We're arguing with Moshe Rabbeinu.
There's conflicts in energy. Bipolar. Kadosh Baruch Hu made briyas. In other words, like let's say Kadosh Baruch Hu made an energy of life and an energy of death. I don't say energy is the right word, but kosmos is the right word. So what do you do when there's a conflict?
They're arguing that Moshe Rabbeinu. Understand that?
They're saying that this is inappropriate according to the bria.
What did you say? It's like power, whatever.
No, but in other words, what was going on in the mechanism, I don't know if anybody was saying anything. What was going on in the mechanism is that there was something awkward happening over here because you're going keneged teva. But not this teva, that teva. So in the allegory, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Hachzer lahem tshuva, that the teva can be even higher, and I'm the neshama of that world. And according to Yecheskel, you can understand Moshe Rabbeinu. Doesn't arguing is just
I thought Shua is true to what? To himself?
it's like if you're sitting in a laboratory. I mean, because you're stuck in
Right.
you're sitting in a laboratory and saying that these two molecules are arguing with each other. They're not arguing with each other in the way we argue, but there's a fight going on here. Bodies, antibodies. There's a fight going on within our goof. Antibodies, right? Radical cell cancer cells and cells which are getting rid of them. There's a fight going on here. So that's the pshat and the malachim are arguing with each other. There's also a bigger picture. But this is the way the goof works. The goof needs to create, the goof needs to argue. There's a bigger picture, even in the goof itself.
As in the mashal of taking off the shoe because it feels the pain. So I wondered for a while that if you walk around for long enough with that shoe, then you don't feel. So this is the answer to it. I mean, I had thought, okay, well, then he won't at a certain point. The leader doesn't feel the pain of his feet like Moshe, but it means he's not supposed to feel that. Meaning, like you said, don't feel the pain because it's feeling the pain means that you have an ego to feel it.
But it's interesting, he didn't ask him to walk around for the rest of his life without shoes.
Right.
He just said, right now, don't wear shoes. Right now, you need to be able to understand that. Meaning, you got to get back into your goof to go to Mitzrayim. Put your shoes on and go to Mitzrayim, it seems. I mean, you'd be right if you would say to him, as a leader, you have to forever take off your shoes. But I'm trying to get you to do a mission. In order for you to do this mission, I need you to take off your shoes and feel it. I think that's what this was emphasis.